Welcome to Series 4. Now, if you've spent the last few years mastering the dark arts of deploying machine learning models to production, you might think you are perfectly equipped to handle generative AI. But as a lot of teams are discovering the hard way right now, the old playbook just doesn't quite fit anymore. In this explainer, we're going to meticulously map out the exact delta between traditional machine learning operations, good old MLOps, and this wild new world of large language model operations, or LLMOps. We are breaking down exactly why your existing infrastructure desperately needs an upgrade to handle the chaos of generative AI. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the model is an illusion, the MLOps cycle diff, 4 disruptive LLM properties, new primitives of LLMOps, the existing tooling gap, and finally our Series 4 roadmap. Let's dive in. Part 1, the model is an illusion. We are going to shatter the traditional artifact assumption. The core illusion that consistently trips up veteran ML engineers when they first enter the space is a fundamental misunderstanding of what a model actually is now. In traditional MLOps, your primary artifact was a single, discrete, versioned unit. Think of a pickle file or a containerized binary, right? And you measured its performance using rock-solid numeric metrics like accuracy, AOC, or F1 scores. It was contained. But in the LLM reality, the model is no longer a single file. It's a massive multi-component orchestration. You are managing a foundation model, a specific prompt template, a retrieval layer pulling in external data, routing logic, and output guardrails. Every single one of these interacting layers has its own lifecycle, its own latency, and trust me, its own highly unique failure modes. Part 2, the MLOps lifecycle diff. Let's do a careful comparative analysis. To be clear, we absolutely aren't making the binary claim that traditional MLOps is obsolete. We aren't throwing it away, we are systematically adapting it. The crucial point here is mapping exactly which stages survive intact, which ones require some structural adaptation, and which entirely unprecedented layers have to be built from scratch. For example, your data collection and deployment stages. Those actually transfer over with just a little adaptation. You still need robust data pipelines and standard CI/CD wrappers. But the train stage, that is often largely replaced entirely by prompt engineering or retrieval tuning. And the validate and monitor stages, those are almost entirely new ballgames. You aren't just monitoring for data drift anymore. You're looking for output quality drift, hallucination rates, and semantic relevance. That requires entirely new operational muscles. Part 3, 4 disruptive LLM properties. The mechanics of the anomaly. To really grasp why those validation and monitoring stages are so completely different now, we have to unpack 4 deeply disruptive properties of LLM systems. First up is non-determinism. In traditional software, if you input X, you expect Y. Even in classic ML, a static model gives a static prediction for a given input. But with LLMs, providing the exact same input prompt will yield a completely different generated output sequence across different runs. This means you can no longer rely on brittle exact match unit tests or simple regular expressions to assert your system's quality. Property number 2 is prompt sensitivity. In traditional ML, changing a feature slightly might slightly nudge the prediction. Not here. In LLMOps, literally adding a single tiny phrase like think step by step to your system prompt can completely rewrite the model's output trajectory. And here is the kicker. Not only does it change the behavior, but it vastly increases the number of tokens generated, meaning a one-word change can literally double your monthly inference bill overnight. Third, we have multi-component coupling, which brilliantly illustrates the new complexity. Let's say you're running a retrieval augmented generation, or RAG pipeline. If your vector search pulls in a relevant context, the best, most powerful language model in the world will still confidently generate a failure. Your system quality is now the product of many interacting parts. So debugging requires tracing the exact execution path across multiple layers, rather than just looking at the final output. And finally, evaluation difficulty. This property forces us to entirely abandon simple metrics. You just cannot use an F1 score, blue, or rouge to accurately measure how helpful or polite or factually grounded an open-ended paragraph is. These models generate semantics, not simple categories. So this forces us to rely on probabilistic semantic scoring methods. Most notably, we now use LLMs as judges to evaluate the outputs of other LLMs based on predefined rubrics. Part 4, New Primitives of LLMOps, the required architectural layers. Because of those 4 anomalies we just talked about, we are forced to inject entirely new primitives into our operational stack to regain control and ensure enterprise-grade reliability. Just consider this for a second. Traditional ML was heavily dominated by the upfront cost of training. But in this generative era, LLM inference can cost up to 100 times more per call than a traditional ML prediction. That fundamentally shifts the entire operational focus, from managing training compute to rigorously monitoring per-token inference costs in real time. If you don't track this, your application could literally bankrupt its own budget in a single weekend. So to bridge this gap, you absolutely must implement new architectural layers. You need a prompt registry because prompts are effectively your source code now and they demand version control. You need LLM-specific evaluation suites to replace those old unit tests. You need trace-level observability to see the exact handoffs between your retrieval tools and the model itself. And finally, you absolutely need token cost monitoring and hallucination detection. These are all components that classic MLOps simply never required.
Part 5. The Existing Tooling Gap, Addressing the Just Use ML Flow Debate.
Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Many veteran engineers ask, why can't I just use standard open source tools like MLflow or Kubeflow? Well, while those standard MLOps stalwarts beautifully handle artifact versioning, reproducible environments, and basic deployment pipelines, they were fundamentally built for deterministic models. They're entirely blind to trace-level RAG debugging, they have no idea how to track the semantic versioning of a text prompt, and they simply aren't natively equipped to run multi-turn, probabilistic evaluations using an LLM as a judge. You can definitely keep your existing stack, but you must augment it with LLM-specific additions to close these dangerous operational gaps.
Part 6. Series 4 Roadmap, Mapping the Operational Arcs.
Now that we've isolated this operational delta, let's zoom out and look at how we'll systematically tackle these challenges moving forward. We are going to progress through 5 distinct arcs. We've just covered foundations. Next, we'll conquer evaluation, figuring out exactly how to automatically score non-deterministic outputs. Then, observability, where we learn to trace those complex multi-component executions. Arc 4 covers serving and scaling, focusing heavily on managing those massive token costs. And finally, governance, ensuring your enterprise data graph comprehensively covers the entire chain, from your raw source data all the way to the prompt output. Look, we all know it's incredibly easy to build a jaw-dropping LLM demo in a Jupyter notebook on a Friday afternoon. But taking that demo, securing it, monitoring its cost, and ensuring it doesn't hallucinate wildly on Monday morning when users actually touch it, that is the real engineering challenge. Ask yourself right now, if your system hallucinated tomorrow, would your current stack even be able to detect it before your users did? The gap between a working demo and a secure working production system is exactly what we'll be tackling in our next explainer. I'll see you there.